Let's start with the NBA. You had an unbelievable column on CBSSports.com this week about overachievers and underachievers so far this season. Not mentioned on that list, the Golden State Warriors. What category would you put them in?
I think that's the question of the week. Adam called a lot of current and former players and GMs and executives to put that list together. Half of the people I talked to told me that the Warriors should be underachievers because they're not nearly as dominant as they were at this point last season, have already lost as many games at home this season as they did all of last year. The other half told me it should go the other direction because they're clearly the dominant team in the NBA, and they can only get better with Kevin Durant still figuring out how to be a Warrior. So, Adam, despite the fact that I'm critically acclaimed, I copped out and put them in the not sure category. Look, I don't think they're either. I think they're right where I thought and a lot of people thought they would be. They're really good. They're really dominant. They're not quite the team they were, the well-oiled machine they were last year, but they're going to get better, and they're going to get there by February or March.
Yeah, I don't think it's a cop-out. I agree with you completely. I thought that they'd have some growing pains. You just don't roll the balls out and go play basketball, but they're a juggernaut simultaneously. I don't think that's a cop-out. I think that's spot on. And I saw that you had the Knicks as overachievers so far this season. They've got the Warriors tonight on national TV. Of course, Melo's numbers, as we documented yesterday, have dipped a bit ever since Phil Jackson appeared right here on CBS Sports Network on We Need to Talk, wrongly criticizing his star. Now, I had the Knicks making the playoffs preseason. Do you think the Knicks can sustain the type of success that they've had early in the campaign?
Adam, I want my initial answer to you to be no because their defense is atrocious, somewhere between 25th and 27th in defensive efficiency rating from night to night. And frankly, because they're the New York Knicks, right? And like we've seen this movie before and we know how it ends. But I think they can. Their offense is really good. Obviously, Porzingis is an emerging star. I know Melo and Phil are taking shots at each other, but I actually think that helps to moderate each of their mistakes and some of the things they bring to the table that aren't as attractive. Derrick Rose is a surprisingly good fit, and the Eastern Conference, after a couple teams, is a cluster of mediocre basketball teams. Yeah, to my great shock and surprise, I think the Knicks can be somewhere in that 4 or 5, 3 range, and I think that's a huge overachievement this season.
What about the Lakers, Bill? Now, you had them in the jury's still out category. They had a great stretch to start the season.
Yeah.
Currently losers of 8 straight. What do you see as the upside for the Lakers this season?
You know, I see what Chicken Little saw when he looked up at the sky, unfortunately. The sky is falling, and the wheels have come off. Luke Walton kicked out of a game a few days ago. Brandon Ingram, that number 2 pick, has basically been MIA. It hadn't mattered early on. I think, unfortunately, Adam, because the league is better when the Lakers and the Knicks and the Celtics are really good. Unfortunately, I think the Lakers, to quote Denny Green, are who we thought they were. They're just not that good. They're probably going to continue to lose basketball games, and it will be for Luke Walton, who I think is a really stellar hire, a much longer process than the first 10 or 11 of the games of the season, when the Lakers were sort of interesting and sort of good, led us to believe.
We talked yesterday about Ty Lue resting LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love in the second night of a back-to-back, and it turned out, obviously, to be a loss to the Grizzlies. I had no problem with it. Did you?
No, Adam, that's why you're almost always right on these things. No, this makes, I mean, you have a problem if you're a fan who wanted to see the game in Memphis. You probably have a problem if you're Adam Silver. But the job of the Cleveland Cavaliers, from Lue to LeBron to that organization, is to win a championship. And we've seen both sides of this coin. On the one side, the Warriors chasing 72 wins last year. 73 wins is a big part of the reason I think they ran out of gas in the NBA Finals. And on the other, Greg Popovich has mastered this plan, and LeBron James has openly said he's going to follow it. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And unlike Greg Popovich, who would just give the finger to the league office and when and how he would do it, the Cavaliers did a pretty good job a few days before this happened, leaking some stories and giving some quotes and pointing out that, look, when you play them back-to-backs, you tend to get more injured. LeBron's getting older. He's probably going to sit out more back-to-backs. I think what they did makes all the sense in the world, and I think they handled it about as well as you can.